Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Judy Nottoli of the California Air Resources Board. She's the ombudsman there, and she works with supporting businesses get the actions taken that they need. Judy, why don't you go ahead?
Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Thomas, and thank you and Gary for inviting me to talk today to folks about some of the resources and tools we have available for small businesses, including clean tech entrepreneurs. Next slide. One more. So as Thomas mentioned, I am the CARB Ombudsman. So I serve as a friendly advisor and confidential resource to help businesses understand and comply with our regulations. Under Section 507 of the Clean Air Act, it mandates that we identify somebody to serve as an ombudsman, specifically to help support and provide technical assistance to small businesses that might not have the resources to comply with air quality regulations. Next slide. So the Office of the Ombudsman provides technical assistance and compliance assistance to our stakeholders. Bottom line is we can help you navigate through ARB, through our website, help you comply with regulations, understand what it is you need to do. Most importantly, connect you with some of our other contacts. We collaborate and network with a whole host of different organizations, everything from other state agencies such as GoBiz to federal agencies such as the USDA and the US EPA, in addition to private industry, community-based organizations, utilities, universities, community colleges, just a whole host of folks that we work with. And if you've got a project or activity you want to conduct and it makes sense, we'll certainly tie everybody in and get folks working in a collaborative effort to accomplish projects that hopefully help us improve our air quality and reduce our GHG emissions. So stakeholder engagement and outreach is a huge activity. As we were talking a little bit beforehand, getting engaged on the front end of, let's say, a document, a plan, or a rule development is absolutely key. We need input and suggestions and comments from business so that we can potentially limit any unintended consequences from our rules, our initiatives, our plans. One of the other things that we do in the Office of the Ombudsman is we help our staff understand small business issues. As you know, small businesses typically have a whole host of challenges and barriers that other businesses might not have. And so we want to make sure our folks understand those. So again, as rules and other things are being developed, that's taken into account. We also manage Small Business Opportunities Advisory Panel, or SPOAP. So that's SOAP with a B. And this advisory panel consists of 12 members from across the state, representing a number of industry sectors such as logging, almond farming, recycling, oil and gas processing, furniture manufacturing, but regulated industries. The purpose of this panel is really to give small business a seat at the table as we are developing regs or initiatives or programs. So SPOAP, we meet at least quarterly, and I will bring in our staff from various programs and divisions to talk to SPOAP members about what's coming up, get their input. And SPOAP has done everything from reviewing plans and ideas to doing some brainstorming, helping develop, for example, surveys that'll go out to businesses. So they're a really vital resource when representing small business in a lot of the things that we are doing now and planning to do down the road. We also manage CARB's Air Quality Education Program, where we work with educators and provide materials on air pollution and climate change. We attend science fairs and events. For years, we've participated with SMUD in their solar regatta. We present to classrooms everything from air pollution, air quality index, things that they can do to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions, to talking to the kids about STEM opportunities and careers, along with green jobs. We're also a member of CN, which is the California Environmental Education Interagency Network. And CN is a group of state agencies that we get together monthly and talk about our education activities and how we can collaborate, share resources, and get the word out about what everybody's doing to help improve our environmental stewardship. Next slide. So ARB has got a research program that I wanted to mention. There's a couple of links included on this slide. So we actually go out and solicit concepts every year for research ideas and activities. We have a triennial strategic research plan that identifies the highest priority research needs for the next 3 years. The current plan covers activities through 2021. So if you're interested in getting some research funding from the agency, what you'll want to do is take a look at the strategic research plan and see if your concept and project falls in line with what the top needs are for us. When the process is opened up, it's every year, and it's typically, I think we just finished up in July with the most recent solicitation for concepts. But a concept is, it's not a full-blown proposal. It's simply a couple of paragraphs, a couple of hundred words that basically presents your idea for a research project. Our staff then look at those concepts, see how they match up with the plan and some of the goals of the agency for that calendar year, and then go ahead and bring the concepts to our board, typically in December, for approval. Those concepts that our board approves, the staff then go and work with the applicants to develop a full proposal, get everything lined out, get agreements in place, and then go ahead and start the research process. So CARB coordinates with state and federal agencies, the local air districts, research institutions, and other.
You know, I didn't mind that he was talking to me personally. It actually.
In order to avoid duplication of effort, leverage funding, and identify opportunities for collaborative efforts. So highly suggest you take a look at what's going on in the research world, and especially if you've got a concept that, you know, you're 2 years out or so from basically trying to bring to market, it's a great opportunity to get some funding.
Is there a match requirement for that kind of funding, Judy?
There is nothing specific. It always helps if there is some, but it's not necessary. And, you know, some of the projects are $200 and others up to a couple of $1 million. So the amount of funding awarded obviously depends on our budget and what we've got that year. So it will fluctuate. Next slide. So I'm sure a number of folks have heard about the GGRF, which is a greenhouse gas reduction fund. Our cap and trade auction proceeds go into the GGRF to support a whole bunch of different types of programs and projects to help further reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Every year, the legislature appropriates money from the GGRF to state agencies that then administer the California Climate Investment Program. There's about 30 different agencies that receive some type of funding. Through the cap and trade dollars. I highly suggest folks go out, click on the link, funding for businesses. That'll take you to a page that has a long list of the different type of programs where businesses can receive funding. Some of the different programs that might be of interest is Cal Recycle gets some money to look at treatment technologies for things like food waste. There's money available for your business if you want to purchase an electric vehicle or other different types of activities. So please go out and take a look at the different type of programs that are available that might help you in your business. Every 3 years, we have to do an investment plan that describes the types of projects and programs that are going to be funded. The current plan basically covers us through 2022, which means next summer or early fall, we will start having workshops for input into the funding plan for the following 3 years. So this is one of those activities that I think is just so important for folks to sign up on our email list to get the notification of when we're having these workshops for the investment plan. So you can provide input into that. Let's say, suggest a CARB, for example, hey, what about setting up a category for clean technology demonstration programs? The more folks that can provide input on that type of suggestion, the more likely it is that our staff are going to consider it for funding and put that information into the investment plan for approval by the legislature. So really important to get on the front end of this. As with everything from the regulations to these plans, once things go to our board for final approval, it's really too late to provide any type of input that's going to significantly change the contents. So it's real important to get involved and engaged upfront, get that information in before the horse is in the gate so that your comments can really be considered. Next slide. So we have got a website, coolcalifornia.org, that has a variety of resources and tools available to help small businesses. This is a picture of a screenshot from the homepage. You'll see the 4 boxes there: school, local government, individuals or households, and then small business. If you go ahead and click on that small business box, you'll find information on sustainability planning, a carbon footprint calculator so you can determine what the footprint is of your business. There are planning resources, information on becoming a green certified business. There's also information on disaster recovery, resiliency, and COVID-19. Been working a lot over the last couple of years with businesses to get folks to understand the importance of having a disaster preparedness plan in place. And as we've been hit with COVID-19, obviously those that have done so were a little bit better prepared to bounce back than others. So there's some really good resources out there. So please, when you get the chance, go take a look. One of the really important resources out there is the Funding Wizard. If you click on that icon, you'll go out into this tool. This is a fabulous tool for finding out financial incentives, rebates, grants, and loans that are available. You can sort out there. There's a keyword search box. You can also sort by the funding type. So if you're only interested in grants, you can type that in. It not only provides information on what's available through the state, but through all different resources, including our utilities from across the state and federal grants and resources that are available for things like small business technology grants. The Desire database is included. It's really a great resource. Right now we are updating things to add another function in there, and the new version hopefully will be released early this fall. But in the meantime, we are still running this tool and updating things. So again, a really great resource to finding the dollars and funding and support activities. Next slide. So I wanted to just mention a few of the different types of projects that we have been helping in regards to clean tech. So you can see that there's a wide range of projects listed here. Just to give you a couple examples of how we can help support clean tech programs and activities. Just last week, I facilitated a call between our staff in our research division and in our Industry Strategies Division with a CleanTech company to talk about carbon sequestration opportunities for what they're trying to do with their technology. Also worked with a solar thermal company to get some funding in order to do a large-scale installation with a major company. That company realized such great energy efficiency savings using solar thermal that they have engaged this company in putting similar systems on a dozen of their facilities across the country. So that has been a really great program to see come to fruition. Couple other things is next week got a call with Caltrans and another one of the clean tech companies to talk about use of their byproduct as a material filler. Work a lot on hydroponic farming and vertical farming, looking at ways of making that energy efficient, maybe using a waste to energy type system to provide electricity for the functions of the farming activities. Also, obviously, sustainable farming, looking at using different types of sensors in the ag community. We also will do things like help companies find a site or a company or a place to go ahead and install their equipment to do the demonstration activities. Another example, working with the schools, had some contacts there and had a company that wanted to test out their new energy efficient thermostats. So went ahead and installed those in a school, had the facilities guys obviously operating things remotely from their iPhone. And again, the school noticed such a tremendous savings in energy costs that they, after the data set and a couple adjustments were made, purchased a number of the thermostats for their schools throughout the district. So those are just a few examples of how we can help support. Oh, I guess I should mention as well, got another clean tech company that is, that has been encouraged to set up their manufacturing facility here in California. So we work with GoBiz, which is the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, to talk about tax incentives or training incentives or other type of financial incentives that will be available to that business for locating their manufacturing facility in a certain part of the state. So it's all just been very exciting. Even as we're in lockdown now, the number of phone calls and questions and opportunities that are coming by have been really a lot of fun to get engaged with and to help folks through collaboration and some of the funding opportunities actually move their things forward. Next slide. So to-dos, please go out to the ARB website and sign up for our email lists so that you get notified of activities and workshops that are coming on, so you can attend those workshops and provide input. And I can't say it enough how important early engagement is. So if you really want to see some things happen and change, please get involved. It's been mentioned before about how important it is also to talk to your local legislators, to provide input to them, since a number of them sit on the legislative committee that actually allocates funds into different projects. So all that kind of comes around full circle. And then please go out and check out the financial incentives that might be helpful to you out on the Funding Wizard. So that said, that's all I've got for now. So happy to answer any questions.
Well, that was quite a bit, Judy. Thank you very much for doing that. And we've tried to capture all the websites and stuff on the chat if people want to grab those that are interested. So tell us, we started to talk a bit about it, but it's sort of a momentous thing here on adopting a rule to replace diesel trucks, certainly delivery trucks, maybe even longer range trucks, with electric trucks, because that would be a real technology forcing function. There are a few electric truck manufacturers out there, but not many on the road. And that rule is being considered today and possibly will go into tomorrow. So what would that rule do if adopted, Judy?
Well, it's going to require manufacturers of trucks to manufacture more electric vehicles. So as people have probably noticed, there's obviously a tremendous push going towards fuel cells and electric vehicles. And, you know, over the next, 10 years or so. So that's going to continue. You're going to see just electrification and the use of fuel cells. Programs that engage those type of technologies are certainly going to be running a lot of the initiatives and regulations and activities we have going forward.
So when would the rule take effect? Is there, is it 2025 or is it immediate?
No, it's not immediately. It's I don't know right off the top of my head, but it's not far away. So it's one of the reasons why the manufacturers are so interested, because obviously they're going to have to retool and adjust to meet the requirements. So
I believe
really good activity.
Hi, this is Eva. I believe I heard on NPR this morning it's 2024 because they were interviewing the manufacturer of some of them up in Portland as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that has to happen, Gary, and it's not going to be a light switch thing. Oh, Chris White, sorry for those of you who don't see me. It's not a light switch thing. It's a percentage thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so, it's been cooking for years, so nobody's surprised.
Yeah, no, it's been going on, but I think people lost track of it. We have a company we're working with, and it's called SEI, and they're very much aware of it and have some products that would fit into that. But it's a big deal when these things finally get to the adoption phase. So thanks for filling in, all of you, some information on that. Other questions or comments for Judy?
Yeah, I have a question or comment for Judy or Chris. So it seems to me like this rule is going to focus industry on battery electric as well as hydrogen at the expense of things like CNG, renewable diesel, any of the liquid fuels. That's my impression. I don't know if you guys share that impression as well.
That's Thomas Patton from CalStart.
Oh, sorry, you're not seeing me?
Yeah, we see you, but I just wanted to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, from CalStart. You know, this is something that's very interesting to me because I'm really bullish on the future of hydrogen. You know, I'm a little biased in that because I think that's our only solution for the heavy duty trucking, marine, and aviation. I think that's the only solution we really have to for those types of transportation modes. So I'm just curious if you guys agree that this is hopefully going to put some more focus on hydrogen as well as obviously battery electric.
Chris, did you sponsor his question?
I did not. And I was just going to say, you know, this is like I'm not sure it's Judy's wheelhouse, and this is like a 30-minute discussion all on its own.
That's right.
So, you know, I would say, Thomas, you and I are both in the same circles doing the same things with the same people. It is a loaded question. And we've known for a long time that the regulations for fuels have been pointed separately from regulations for the motive power of the vehicle for a long time. And also that the state has a different perspective than the federal government and what federal funding pays for. So it is a big question. Personally, y'all know I work with fuel cells, I work with batteries. I am also a huge fan of renewable natural gas. I've been writing reports for clients suggesting that they move into renewable diesel, which you all may know is not biodiesel. I think there are a lot of pathways to getting us where we want to go.
Great. Other questions or comments? Now, Adrian Wren tossed a thing there in the chat room on cap and trade proceeds down 96% in May auction. And of course, those auction proceeds are what funds a lot of programs. Judy, any insights? I mean, obviously that's a big hit, but it could just be temporary. Any comments on the auction proceeds trend?
Sure. Yeah, this quarterly auction was significantly below previous auctions for a variety of reasons. In regards to how that's going to affect things, people need to remember the cap and trade was not put in place as a revenue generator. So that's one thing. Second of all, the legislature decides where the money goes. Last year we had about $2.1 billion. Obviously this year is going to be quite a bit less. So it'll be up to the legislature to decide, you know, what bucket is funded at what amount going forward. And obviously right now, as we're going through this next fiscal year budget, cap and trade money is certainly a topic of concern over at the Capitol.
Is there much discussion on changing how it's allocated with the legislature? Particularly, I'm trying to follow HighSpeed Rail because that seems to have fallen off a cliff, but yet the law still requires, I think, 25% of the money to go there.
Well, yeah, a large percentage does still go to HighSpeed Rail. That bucket has been in discussion for quite a while. Not sure if it's going to change or not this year or next year, but I'm sure it's something that's being discussed.
Yeah. All right. Other comments or questions for Judy?
Remember, there's links. Judy put lots of links into her slides, so I'm going to go and put reshare the presentation slides so that everyone can go in there and check them out. I want to thank people for attending. Also, I put in, there's a link to the Bridge webinar that Gary had mentioned for clean tech companies, also links to California Air Resources Board, and then our local air resource district, which is the Sacramento Metro Air Quality Management District. And since that's a mouthful, I just abbreviated it as the SAC ARB before anyone says that's not correct. Also, Blue Tech Valley recorded their plugging in with the CEC. You can check out their YouTube video here. Again, Weintraub Tobin has COVID-19 support resources. I suggest you check those out. And I have another link that I put in here during this time. Yeah.
Don't forget the happy hour with Startup SAC.
Yep. We'll have a link
This
to
one
that
is definitely
ones.
BYOB, so
yeah.
Have a drink in your hand when you join on the 30th.
Yeah, and a cool California link there for you too. I want to thank our additional sponsors, Hacker Lab and UI. And thank you guys for coming.